Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. As always, guys, just a quick reminder that this podcast is for intermediate and advanced English language learners, and you can listen to the podcast with the transcript if you'd like, which is available in the description. So you can read along, which is a chance to get some free active speaking practice as well, if you feel like you need it. In the last episode, I talked about why the Beatles are the perfect band for language learning, how they're involved in everything from legal battles, interesting personal relationships, to politics. If you missed that episode, go back and check it out. It's all about finding material you're obsessed with and using it as a diagnostic tool to identify gaps in your vocabulary. And look, the Beatles are just the perfect band to start with in terms of the lyrics, but also their interests and their involvement in the world and how they shaped maybe the modern world in some senses. Anyway, today I want to highlight 3 cool songs by the Beatles that resonate with me from, I hate to say it, but from a grammatical perspective. So let's dive in. The first one is Hey Jude. Great song. Obviously, the backstory is heavy. The fact that Paul is writing a song kind of directed at Jude, Julian Lennon, who was John's son, and kind of giving him words of wisdom after his father and mother separate or divorce, I believe. It's astounding, really. Even that story in itself is amazing. But I want to look at the song just from the use of imperatives. Usually, when we think about imperative language, it's kind of an order or some kind of instruction. But it can be a little bit severe. It can be a little bit direct, a little bit abrupt, like do this, don't do that, close the door, open the window, la la la. It can sound a little bit aggressive. But when I listen to Hey Jude, it's so soft. The imperatives are kind of like wise words from an elder statesman, wise words from a sage, from a wise, experienced, or worldly person. Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. If you compare it with another Beatles song by John, Don't Let Me Down, this is another imperative, but the tone is completely different. It's almost a plea of desperation or hope in Don't Let Me Down, an urgent request for a new love to remain. But the flow in Hey Jude, remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better, that kind of imperative use, when it's used in such a soft, delicate way, it just kind of guides someone on their future path. So it's a cool song. I recommend listening and re-listening and going through the lyrics and finding those imperatives in the text. Some people like to print out a copy and write it down or, underline or circle or highlight those imperatives. That's cool too. It also reminds me a little bit of Cat Stevens, Father and Son. There are nice imperatives used there too. For example, it's not time to make a change, just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault, there's so much you have to know. Find a girl, settle down. So those lines like relax, take it easy. Find a girl, settle down. Again, these are soft imperatives used by an older person. But in this song, however, the listener understands from the second voice, that of the son, that this advice is not wanted. It's not asked for, it's not solicited, so it's kind of a dynamic of frustration opposed to that of Hey Jude, where the advice is just softer and kind of considered. So these are 3 great songs really to review the imperative form without any stress, especially Hey Jude. So our second song, I was thinking about a kind of lesser known song by the Beatles, which I love, which is I've Just Seen a Face. I think it's from the Help album, and there's a lyric in it that has an inversion. So the conditional sentence is reshaped. So firstly, let's give an example or a classic example of a third conditional. If I had known that it was raining, I would have brought my coat. So that's a kind of standard third conditional. If I had known it was raining, I would have brought my jacket with me. So we have a past condition, and then we have a past result as well. But in that song, they have an inversion. So the inversion would be, of our previous example, had I known it was raining, I would have brought my coat. So it's still a third conditional, but we just have an inversion. We remove if and we invert had and I. If I had known it was raining, I would have brought my coat. Inversion, had I known it was raining, I would have brought my coat. In the Beatles song I've Just Seen a Face, they use the same structure. The lyric is, had it been another day, I might have looked the other way. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. So it's a really nice idea that if I hadn't seen her today or this morning, then I wouldn't have started to think about her constantly, and I wouldn't have that feeling about her now. In the song, it's an inversion with the third conditional. I recommend looking at the lyrics for this. I'll share the song in the description in any case. But yeah, very nice. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way. If this structure seems odd or strange, that's okay. These are the structures we need to spend time with in a natural way, absorbing the meaning and context, and then doing a deep dive if we feel like investigating more, okay, to expand our knowledge of the structure. And the last song that I'd like to talk about is, it's just a kick-ass song. It's a little bit of a pronoun review for you. I, Me, Mine by George, a classic by George, just a George classic. All I can hear, I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. Even those tears, I, me, mine, I, me, mine, I, me, mine. Okay, so it's a nice review of our subject, object, and possessive pronouns. You could do it with all of the other pronouns. You could change the subject to you, yours. You could go through the list as a little review, but I recommend checking out the song because the message, as well as the little bit of grammar, is beautiful. The kind of drive to fulfill all our needs and desires, especially in an age where maybe we're becoming a little bit more entitled or a little bit individualistic. We don't want to wait. We want next day delivery. We want everything now. Otherwise, we're not so happy. Anyway, it's always a good reminder not to get sucked into that way of thinking, of being, and music is the best way to snap out of such thoughts or snap out of some thoughts. Okay, so those are the 3 songs I wanted to highlight. Hey Jude, I've Just Seen a Face, and I, Me, Mine. A little bit of grammar review, imperatives, nice third conditional with an inversion, and pronouns. I'm going to share all 3 of those in the description. And again, probably more important than the grammar, or more importantly, and it's just to enjoy the music. Let the grammar be a bonus, not the main focus. Listen for pleasure first, and then notice the structures. That's how acquisition works. So yeah, get obsessed with the band. Find your Beatles, whatever that might be. Use music as your gateway to the language and have fun with it. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Take care of yourselves, guys. Have a great week. Ciao. Ciao.